Davy's here. Just start it.
Guys, we are 30 minutes late,
Yeah,
and
we were
I'm a
warming up.
dumbass.
Look, I'm on time. I was early.
Dave, he was early. Good thing where we're at is nobody was sitting around waiting for this to start. But
No way. There definitely was people waiting.
yeah,
We
there
just
had
don't
to have
know it
been.
yet. Yeah.
I just don't know it yet. So actually, sorry if I'm going to put this up anywhere else, maybe Spotify and the podcast. I should do a quick little intro. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Me and Mike have been sitting here with Ian for about the past 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just shooting the shit. Thought we were live. Really thought I hit go, but I did not. So the original reason I was late, I was like 5 minutes late, and now we're 30 minutes late. But anyway, glad you're here. Welcome to the Valley Sports Plug Roundtable. This is the second live stream we're doing here on YouTube. We got Ian, the very happy Yankees fan, and Delmo with us this evening. I'm glad to have these guys. We kind of just have been chatting for so long. We're probably just going to dive right into it and keep going. We've been talking about the summer movies, the blockbusters of this year, Top Gun Maverick, Lightyear, what was there? Dominion, Jurassic World, Dominion. So we're going to talk some movies. What else were we talking about? We don't have to rehash what we were already talking about. We can move forward. We're moving forward into the future. Mike's over there eating, but did you have anything to say, my guy, before we dive in here?
No, other than if you haven't seen Top Gun, out of those three, that's the one that you got to see, man. It's just like an overflow of nostalgia. I know all of us weren't born when it came out, but I remember watching it when I was a kid. My parents loved the first Top Gun. I prepped myself before I went and saw it. It was perfect.
Rewatched the original.
Yeah, it just touched on. It had really good callbacks. It was just a good story, and the action, like the last 30 minutes, was killer, man.
I'll ask the question everyone else is afraid to. Is there a volleyball scene?
I had several. It's like falling apart apparently.
No, there's a topless like football on the beach scene.
Okay.
So they one up themselves, basically.
Yeah, I'll take that over volleyball.
I don't know, man. I don't think it. The four dudes that were playing volleyball, other than Goose, were shredded. They were in the original Top Gun.
Yeah, and they're like shiny.
Yeah, they were here too, but I don't know. Miles Teller, the actor is great, but I do agree with most people. He does look like just like an average dude. He's fairly average.
Nothing wrong with that.
Washboard abs that they all had to get for the movie. It would have been better if the girl was topless too. It would have been a good movie. Come on.
Then it wouldn't be a family movie.
Actually, I will say the love interest of Tom Cruise was smoking. And I don't know if that's with age. I'm just starting to enjoy women of all ages, but she was great. And I'm so glad they didn't go with Kelly McGinnis, which she wasn't going to do the movie anyways, because she said, I look my age, just like Tom Cruise should. My dad says Tom Cruise
he should
drinks vampire blood. That's why he looks the way he does. So man. Right when we were starting, you were asking me a question on, am I going to guess? I'm going to jump in. Is it going to have to do with Lightyear and the female kiss?
Well, I wasn't going to go controversial with it because I want to keep it as not political as possible. I don't know if that's a political topic, but I was just going to ask you because I kind of seconds. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal as long as it's. Yeah. I don't.
It is a big deal box office wise, though.
That's what I was going to say because in the box office, it's kind of not doing so hot. And I heard some people saying the speculation. There was a lot of speculation as to why. Obviously, a lot of people are going to point to that. But other people said that, the last couple Pixar releases and Disney releases in general have gone straight to the Disney Plus streaming service. Mm-hmm. So with no extra charge. So instead of just going to the theater, they say, let's wait a month or whatever, a couple months until it's on Disney Plus, and then we can just watch it at home instead of taking our kids down there or whatever, which I think that could play a factor. So I guess that's a good question to start out with. What do you think is the biggest factor in why it's not doing so hot in the box office? Do you think it's that or more of the controversial stuff?
I guess it's fair. I'm not like, we're not like most parents. We've been taking the kids to the movies since probably, I mean, when people were still masking up in the movies and there were separation seats. We, like Marvel movies, all of us, we go and see those when they launch. So, I mean, since I know Spider-Man, we went and saw. We tried to go to early showings, and it was mostly adults. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The theater that I go to is over at Superstition Springs. It's an older theater. It's one of the ones where you go, and the same where you buy your snacks is actually where you buy your tickets to. So it has
really,
like
wow,
older feel. It's called the Picture Show. I like it. It's a little bit older, a little bit run down, but I really
that's
like
cool.
it. But it was Amber and I have gone to probably. Well, we went and saw Top Gun there 2 weeks ago, but we went at like 4:30 in the afternoon, so it wasn't very busy. I mean, there was 2 other people in the theater, but it's just because of the time we went. We went on a Thursday night or something. I felt like it was pretty busy, but then I did see that this morning actually that it's not doing well. To be fair, I think that most parents, even with like 5-year-old kids love dinosaurs, so it's kind of real easy to expect them to have taken the kids to see Jurassic Park. The nice thing with Buzz is that, or with Lightyear, is that they only really had to compete with the Minions movie for the summer. So
yeah, for kids movies, right?
Yeah, between the 2 movies, they'll probably both make out great.
Davey, can I ask? Do your kids care about a Buzz Lightyear movie?
Great question.
That is a good question. They knew who he was. It was more of me wanting to find something to do with them on Father's Day instead of just sitting at the house. We went to the driving range in the morning, and then we went and saw Lightyear.
Okay, so you saw it. What did you think of it?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. I think that as long as it does a little bit more, which it will, because Disney will keep it out in theaters for 2 months.
Sure.
The reason I asked that question is just because when I hear a Buzz Lightyear movie, my first thought is like, who is that for? Because I don't know if kids are watching Toy Story anymore. Or is that for our generation to have a little bit of a nostalgia trip?
So my kids don't even like think of Toys. So Toy Story 4 they saw, and Carson for a while. She's 5, so for a while she was into that one, the Forky character that came with Toy Story 4, and she watched it a few times with us. And we work with special needs kids, so Toy Story plays. Those type of movies are playing all the time. So our kids see a lot. I think a lot more than they're not just the kids that throw on Frozen and watch it 80 times. They switch up their movies pretty often.
Thank God.
But to be honest, I think I told Amber this too after we watched Lightyear. They can more than easily just start a new franchise with it as long as it does correct itself over the next few weekends. The problem is this is the Top Gun is way outperforming, or maybe it's not. Maybe they knew for sure this was going to happen, because I mean, Top Gun was done in 2019. It's been 3 years since they finished the movie.
I didn't even know that.
It was supposed to release in 2020, the summer of 2020.
Was it just post-production stuff that delayed it, or
no, COVID? Tom Cruise refused. Tom Cruise did not want it to release in COVID.
Oh, because he wanted people to go like see it in person.
And he was right. Okay. I mean, I think they're at $858 million. They're the second highest grossing Paramount movie now, just behind one of the Transformers movies.
Wow, and that didn't leak at all or anything? That didn't pop up online?
No, Miles Teller's been talking about it for like 6 months.
Wow. That's crazy.
Tom Cruise runs a tight ship, though, on his production.
I bet.
I don't know if you guys remember at the beginning of COVID. I think it was during Mission Impossible. He was fucking screaming and yelling at everybody, and he basically kicked a bunch of people off set because they weren't being professional about what they were dealing with at the time. So I'm assuming that's how it was with this one. I mean, Miles Teller, I've watched actually a few now over like the last week, because podcasts and stuff have been popping up, and it's kind of cool listening to him talk about Tom Cruise. But it was, from what it sounds like, a fairly intense movie to film too.
I bet.
A few of them are pilots, like have their pilot's license now because they got so many hours training.
Yeah, I heard they were actually in the cockpit, like with a camera, shooting a lot of those scenes, and like the
Yeah.
G forces and everything was real.
Mhm.
So
That's
everybody
That's
except for
impressive.
Ian's seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't
Oh,
seen
you
it.
haven't seen it?
No.
You don't go to movies, Chris, or what?
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't gone to the movies, and it's like
I
do want to
part
see
of
it.
it
No,
is
don't get me
that
wrong. I do want to see it.
You got to see it in theaters. It makes a just be a. You can feel the G-force. They do say you can feel it.
You should see it in
I bet with
IMAX.
the
That
with
would
the
be the
sound
best
system.
experience.
Is it playing at IMAX?
I don't think it is anymore. I
That
think
would probably scare me.
Dominion is probably
Oh,
playing
Dominion.
at IMAX.
Did you?
Probably
You
taking
probably.
most of the theaters from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey boys,
you-
that's all I have time for. I gotta head off, unfortunately.
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
It's all
Thanks
good,
for
man.
coming out, Ian. I appreciate
course.
you. We'll
Till
have you back
next
soon.
time, for sure.
And then there were 3, and we were all. Well, Davey was on time. I was super late.
Yeah, sure. I guess I was on time. Yeah.
I mean, I can go back to kind of the original question where you're saying, how come the numbers aren't where you would think from a Pixar, movie, especially for something that already has kind of a track record with Toy Story? It can go back to the same as with Chris. He's not going out to movies as much anymore just because of all the options that you have, right? I have so many different freaking movies and series and documentaries that I have on my list that I really want to watch. If something's not completely getting my intrigue right from the beginning, I'm not going out and spending $12 to go see a movie right now. I got all of these services that I pay for. But it also could be the same time. It's like, us growing up now, we're having kids, so we want to take our kids to go see the things that we liked, like Toy Story when we were kids too. But Chris, you don't have kids, so you don't have to. It's the same for me. Like,
Exactly.
I don't have kids. I'm not going to see Lightyear until it comes on Disney Plus.
I'll watch
because
it.
I already pay for it, and it's
Yeah.
going to be a free stream.
Amber and I
know it'll be in 3 months or something, and I can wait that. So
Amber and I, even before kids, we're kind of Disney freaks. We go to Disney on our own before kids, so we always went and saw the Disney movies. But I think, for me, it was more. I didn't plan on seeing it until the kids had seen a few trailers, and then we were kind of thinking about I didn't plan on seeing it right away. Just like with Dominion, I didn't get to tell anybody this yet, but I've actually seen Dominion twice. In November of last year, I saw him. Actually, I was in a test audience. Amber and I were part of 2 different of the test footage.
How different would you say the movie ended up being?
So from the first one, they warned us about, like, when they do these things, they warn you that they're still in post-production. So there are some things that may, especially with CGI, there may be drawings. I remember we were waiting in line talking with somebody. It was a couple, and they had taken their kids to a showing of a pre-screening of Paw Patrol. And Paw Patrol, on some of them, it's still drawings for like 3 minutes of the scene. I'm like, oh, I really hope that's not how this is. But the first time we saw it, it was like 5 seconds at the end of the movie. There's a T-Rex scene in it. It's just this helicopter moving, and it showed the drawing for a second and then went right back to the CGI. So I will say that the second time we saw it, we weren't supposed to see it twice. I thought it was a different showing. Technically, when you get these invites, you're supposed to tell them if you've gone to see one recently, and we decided, because they really end up being free date nights for us.
Wait, so you've seen it twice, but not since it's been officially released in theaters?
Yeah, I saw it twice. I saw it the beginning of November and the beginning of December.
Wow.
And I will say that it wasn't a completely different cut. Most of the movie was the same, but the first 12 to 15 minutes of it was different from the first one. And Amber and I looked at each other and we're like, "Oh shit! Like these are actually different." The endings weren't. Nothing near the end was, but I thought I really liked it. I thought it was fun. I know a lot of people. I've been seeing a ton of people talking about, it's just retreading. Yeah, well, we just got out of a pandemic. God forbid we want to watch some dinosaurs fight.
Yeah,
and
Mike.
Action scenes.
Mike, I want you to say your piece on this because you gave a long, eloquent synopsis and breakdown of your thoughts and feelings on Jurassic Park. So you have the floor to rehash that if you want, or if you want to give the Cliff Notes version. But what did you think about it?
Yeah, I'll do the Cliff Notes. I mean, David, you hit on a lot of good points there. I mean, this is the ending to this part of the trilogy for Jurassic Park. They're bringing in old characters. You get a nostalgia feeling from it. So, unfortunately, sometimes you get a little bit of kind of corniness that comes with that, right? Within dialogue, within just general what's going on. I did enjoy the movie. It wasn't something that like took over me like the first Jurassic World did. Like I really, really loved that movie
Right.
just because it had been so long since we had seen, Jurassic Park 3. It was bringing in new characters. They had actually done what they had set out to do within the first Jurassic Park, which was to build the actual park for people to come to. And one of the other things, Chris Pratt, I fucking love Chris Pratt, man. That's my guilty pleasure show is Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
So
I feel like they took away from him in this one.
Well, so
like
that was
massively took away from him.
Exactly. That was one of
He
the
felt
other
like
things I
comedic
said
relief.
too.
That's all he felt like was comedic relief in this movie. I really dug that whole. I felt like it was a little long, but that scene in the other country where it really turned into like an Indiana Jones, like 15-minute montage. I really enjoyed that. But that's the best you got from Chris Pratt. I remember there was a scene where he had landed in the airplane after falling off the motorcycle, and it sounded like he just messed up his line. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if that's from the test footage, and they just kind of put whatever was in there. But I was like, that's just a dorky, weird line for them to throw in with him. And I really like what's her name, the redhead too. She was great in Jurassic World. But yeah, I agree that Jurassic World 1 gave you everything that you wanted to see. But I liked all the Jurassic Parks too. People talk about Jurassic Park 3. I thought that the different types of dinosaurs and stuff were sweet in it. So I enjoyed it from that point of view. And I mean, obviously you can't do 6 movies of a theme park. I will say the second Jurassic World, I didn't enjoy at all. And this one, I don't know if it was, like you said, the nostalgia because they played on it a lot, but I enjoyed all the characters and how they came together in it for sure.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why Chris Pratt ended up taking a little bit more of a back seat because they wanted to involve all those older characters a little bit more and, putting all them together at once, they tried, it almost seemed like towards the end when they were all together, they were trying to keep them on an even keel and not have one outshine the other. Right. So it made them more kind of like a team to work together. I probably should have seen the second Jurassic World because I went in there and that the young girl was that. No, I had, but it's been years since I've seen it. So I went in there and that young girl is like in the cabin and I'm like, who the fuck is this?
Right.
I totally forgot that she was that clone or whatever the hell.
Well, yeah, and this Jurassic World 2 was just like a big jumbled, like just how can we make people seem real evil and then also get the dinosaurs out in the wild quickly. And they did it. Actually my favorite character from the movie was the pilot. I thought she was incredible. She was in Captain Marvel. She was Captain Marvel's best friend in Captain Marvel. I thought the pilot she was my favorite, and it sucks that she's such a great character that they added to the third movie because it's over now.
Yeah, it's basically right?
I don't expect to see another Jurassic Park movie again. I think Paramount knows when to call it, and for Paramount to have both of these movies doing what they're doing right now, they have 2 movies that are going to hit $1 billion, and they're not Jesus Christ. That's
Davey.
Yeah.
The insensitivity.
No, just the big head and the short arms.
There you go.
You couldn't see them coming, but you couldn't see them coming down like 10 years from now when everybody's like, "Oh,
a reboot." It would be a reboot.
Yeah,
I think. I don't think. Do you know what have you ever heard of that script that Steven Spielberg approved about how the fourth Jurassic Park was going to be actually about how what's the name of the company? The Asian dude. What's his name? Wu.
Oh yeah, from the first
that
movie.
their organization takes the dinosaurs and like mixes them with they basically are turning them into military weapons, and they're like dino soldiers. And Steven Spielberg approved this, and I've seen concept art of it and stuff. And I'm
Like dinosaurs with guns strapped to the side of them.
yeah,
or
like literally. And they did kind of without doing it to an extent. That whole laser thing in the movie where they target somebody and the dinos, that was their ode to that script that was originally going to be released.
Using them as like a military weapon type
I
thing.
mean, you could have said that the same way too for the first Jurassic World, where I mean they wanted to kind of militarize the raptors themselves, right?
Right. Yeah. Behind
when
the
they went to
scenes,
use
end
them.
goal, yeah.
while the movie itself is they're trying to make the biggest, scariest attraction, they're really working on with like the Velociraptors. They're working on militarizing them. Meanwhile, making money in bundles at the theme park itself. Yeah, man, I enjoyed it. I was pumped when we went, and that was the movie that we were seeing. I was hoping it was either that or Ghostbusters at the time, but Ghostbusters was pretty close to releasing, so they don't do test footage that late. Yeah, Amber and I ended up on this list like 8 years ago. We went and saw a movie at the Harkins in Chandler. This guy walks up to us with a keyboard or with a goddamn clipboard and goes, "Hey, you guys want to go see a screening of a new Disney movie coming out?" And we were like, "We just finished the movie. We got to go, but we'll give you our email." Well, that Disney movie ended up being Frozen.
Damn.
Oh wow! Okay.
So we got missed to get to see that
one.
The original one, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So ever since then, we've got invited to a few of them. This is actually. I have never made one before the Jurassic World. We just never were like, oh, you know what? We did one other one was Big Hero 6 we were going to go see, but it's first come, first serve. And by the time we had gotten there, they were sold out. So it was like me, Amber Cutler, and Lindsay Velasquez. And what's cool is if you do that, Tempe Marketplace, usually they'll give you free tickets to a movie. So I think we went and saw like This Is 40 or something instead. But yeah, it's a cool experience, and anything I can watch movie wise. I love going to the movie theater. Since I was a kid, being in Chandler, I've always been like, one day I'm going to buy Pollock Cinema. That's always what I've wanted to do.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, but yeah. So this, and I think I tweeted about it maybe a week or two ago. Like watching it, as much as a Marvel fan I am, which is huge. I have Marvel shit all over the place in my house. Seeing blockbuster movies that don't have superheroes in them back during the summer has been so awesome.
That's really huge.
And it's just
I know
fun.
Right. I know you're a huge movie buff. I know Mike is. I love watching movies too, but I know I wanted to ask you guys, like lately it seems like there's been a lot of these reboots. Like you said, the only way Jurassic Park would come back is as a reboot, maybe way down the road. Do you think that's good if they keep just rebooting stuff, or do you want to see more original scripts coming out?
I don't know. I get anything that gets me going. I'm here for it. Even if it's a reboot, I'm fine with it. I'd be fine if they rebooted Iron Man next year. I would be just as excited to see it as I was the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually saw the other day Netflix is doing a Matilda reboot, and they showed some of the first like pictures of it. And
is Danny DeVito going to be in it?
No, none of them are in it. But they showed the principal chick, and she's all like in like military gear and shit in it, so it looks kind of funny. But I don't know. You know what? It really depends. If it's a movie I really like, then yeah, I'll go see it again, reboot wise. But at the same time, I mean, there's only some of these original scripts I mean, there's only so many ideas. I know that people act like people are endlessly creative, but like even these Oscar like movies, they're kind of all been like you talk about Whiplash with Miles Teller. Whiplash is great, but every 2 or 3 years there's an indie movie that has to do with some type of musician going through some type of hardship. I haven't even seen Whiplash. I need to now. Because I really liked I've always liked Miles Teller just in like his random roles. There's a movie he's in with Michael B. Jordan and Zac Efron. It's a comedy, probably like 7 years ago. It was fucking funny, and he was great in was it War Dogs?
War Dogs with Jonah Hill. Yep,
Yeah,
that's a really good movie.
Great movie.
Don't forget about Project X.
Yeah, Project X, and he was in the Divergent series, and those also all those like teenage angst books were guilty pleasures of mine. I never read Divergent series, but I did read all 4 of the Twilight books, and went and saw all the movies on launch day, and so those kind of movies even are fun for me. I have been hearing more about them. I know Warner Brothers is trying to get J.K. Rowling to create some more Harry Potter content, which I'd be here for. But I don't really. The thing is it has to be those characters. These new ones that have came out didn't interest me at all.
Yeah, Fantastic Beasts.
I never saw any of those movies.
I watched the first one and I haven't watched any of them since. And then it's you have to figure out who's who because obviously they recast Johnny Depp.
They want to keep that character.
And this is not a political thing, but I guess like in the third one they make like a Dumbledore's gay, and not that matters, but it just seems like there's like, and I won't say that about Lightyear because it doesn't feel like that's what it was. There was no big deal made about it when it's Buzz Lightyear's best friend.
Yeah,
but the gist of it is Buzz Lightyear's traveling through time without doing it because he's testing a ship for hyperspace. Well, when you're traveling through hyperspace, you're staying the same age, and his friend keeps aging. So they kind of show her life while he's just doing his test flights. And so they show that. And all it is through a door. It's her and her wife and her son. Her son. And then just one like small kiss. And I've been reading articles about it, and there's been backlash about, well, why isn't Tim Allen in it? Because but the idea is, and this is like why I say that I feel like it's kind of like the idea is to make a series like of movies with Buzz Lightyear. Because I don't know if you guys remember this show when we were kids, Buzz Lightyear Star Command. They kind of had like a background of how Buzz Lightyear, it was on ABC, like Saturday morning cartoons of how Buzz Lightyear came to be in his story. Well, they completely like, that's gone. This is his new origin story. But yeah, I mean, even I guess at like Disney parks, Buzz is not a cartoon character anymore. It's a dude in a spacesuit, like actual, like just like the princesses are actually people without heads, like without the big heads or anything like that. That's Buzz. They still have regular toy Buzz, but they really they want to get it across that this is Buzz's actual origin story, and that's how the movie starts. It's
that's
1995. Andy's
going to see
a toy about
Lightyear.
This is that movie. Yeah.
I think that's a really cool premise of it all, and like I think like from going back to what you said about like the Fantastic Beasts and like the whole Harry Potter series, I think I remember hearing like I don't want to blame the people who made Fantastic Beasts because I'm pretty sure J.K. Rowling came out sometime after the Harry Potter series wrapped up, and she said that Dumbledore was gay. So like she brought that into the Harry Potter universe.
And the reason why she said that, I think, was because she was getting a bunch of backlash about how she feels about transgender.
Oh, it was in like the mist of that.
Yeah, because I know she had that big issue where everybody was on her about how she felt about transgender people and things like that, and maybe that's when it got brought out. But I didn't follow that much. I didn't read the books. I loved the movies. Don't get me wrong. The characters are so fun. Goblet of Fire, it's all teenage angst that we had when we were teenagers, all in one. You have the competition, you have all the different students from all over, the hot girls, the everything. It was a lot of fun. There's real death in it. Robert Pattinson was great in it. So
that was pre-Twilight, wasn't it? Mike, did you
that
watch
was right
Harry
before
Potter?
Twilight.
Yeah, I watched the Harry Potters. Davey, I can't believe that you read the Twilight books, but you didn't read the Harry Potter books. That's
So
that's crazy.
So I don't know what it was.
It might have been just kind of like age.
So you remember Shane Welsh?
How old you were,
Chris?
I do, yeah.
So Shane and I, when we were younger, like in high school, sophomore year, his dad would always take him movie hopping at Harkins. So Shane and I would spend every Saturday going and seeing like 3 or 4 movies. Just if we had nothing to do, that's what we would do. We'd just sneak around the theater.
Just buy one ticket, watch 3 movies.
We went to go see, I remember we went and saw, it was, for whatever reason, Tale of Despero, which is that animated movie about a little mouse. And like 5 minutes into it, we're like, we're not fucking watching this. And Twilight had just started, so we went and watched it. And I'm like, at the time, you don't realize how corny it is because it's so corny going back and watching it. The first one, I think that the last 2 are still pretty okay to watch. We actually let Carson watch the last one, where like they had that whole scene where Carlisle gets his head cut off and stuff like that. So Carson's like, oh, I want to watch the vampire movie. But yeah, so after I saw that, I picked up the books, and I even got in trouble. We went to the Grand Canyon for a vacation, and while we were driving around the canyon looking, I was reading the 3rd Twilight book, and my parents were like, are you fucking kidding me? You're reading a book right now? And I'm like, really? I'm getting yelled at for reading the book? And there was nothing behind it other than I just got caught up in the books. But yeah, sure enough, I went and saw it. That was back in the day. That's some of my favorite stuff. Waiting in lines for movies, waiting in lines for video games at midnight releases.
Yeah, I waited in line for video games a bunch.
Oh my god!
I never waited in line for a movie though.
Right at the end of it all. So I got to watch the midnight release kind of slowly die. And
damn, that's sad.
That was rough. Yeah, because I remember.
I held out for so long with physical game copies and physical CDs because I would buy a bunch of CDs because I still had a CD player in my car, and I held out for so long. And I'm done. GameStop did me dirty so many times that I'm fucking done with it. Yeah. I'll just download it from now on. I just can't be bothered.
I just like the idea of having it ready to go at 9:01 since you can pre-download most stuff.
You're right, exactly, and that just every time they just keep giving you something a little bit extra to make it more enticing to go with that option. So
and it's easier to get a disc-free console nowadays.
I was going to say they sell a disc-free console, yeah. So I'll probably, if I get the next gen, when I get the next gen, I'll probably get the disc-free one because
I made sure for my PS5 to. I luckily kind of knew. I had gotten to know one of the girls at GameStop, probably 6 months before the PS5 pre-orders happened. She said, "Hey, come to me in like 3 months and we'll get you one." I'm like, okay, how are you going to do that? She's like, here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to pre-order because the PS5 controllers were pre-orderable first. She said, I'm going to pre-order your controller, but you got to put $50 on it because that's the deposit you have to put on the console. And the morning that the consoles come out, I'll cancel your pre-order. I'll call you and you'll approve it over the phone. I'll cancel your pre-order and I'll move that $50 onto a console. You won't even have to come to the store. And sure enough, that's what she did. So I didn't have to go through all that bullshit. I remember Lauren for 2 months for Jack was chasing down PS5s with me, and I'm like, you're just gonna have to go on StockX, and that's what she did. She paid like an extra $175 for it.
That's not the worst, but that sucks.
It's all about who you know, man.
That's gone now. I don't know anybody at GameStop anymore.
So here's a good question for you. What was the last game that you guys like camped out for midnight release?
It was a Call of Duty. It was one of the whatever.
I wouldn't say that it was camped out for.
Yeah, no, I just showed
or you
up,
just went to go and get
it.
Well, David, because you remember when before, I think like around like Halo 3, COD 4 times, they waited till midnight Arizona time to give it to you.
Yeah, and then they started doing 9 o'clock releases.
9 o'clock releases. Yeah, so the 9 o'clock releases felt much more unceremonious. Like,
so that's when I started learning like time zones more. Actually,
Yeah.
Like, because the only reason I knew time zones well was because of sports. But I started learning like daylight savings time because sometimes we would release games at 10 p.m. and sometimes it'd be 9. I'm like, what the fuck is? I was at GameStop for 2 years. I'm like, what? And then I'm like, okay, I get it. It's midnight. But man, you know what? I don't know if I can remember the last game. The last game that like jumps out at me that I think was maybe Fallout 4, maybe. I think Fallout 4. I was at the GameStop on Country Club and the 60 when Amber and I lived at this little apartment in Mesa. Yeah, I can't. The last one I was excited for was probably that one, but there was maybe back-to-back games that came out that summer, like weekly. But I was at the point where I was playing everything that came out, and never finishing anything.
Yeah.
I got away from that, and now I don't grab anything. I just play free-to-play stuff because it's just so hard to keep up with the games. Like The Witcher, I want to play it through so badly, but it's a 100-hour game. It's like I can't. I don't have time. I don't even play the sports games all that much anymore. And I guess that's probably because of age and me being exhausted by the time it's 9 o'clock at night.
Right. It's time to hit the hay.
And I mean, Amber, she'll stay up till midnight now playing and then go to bed. And I try most nights I can, but
What is she playing?
League of Legends. That's all.
Oh, okay. When I get a new computer in the next couple months here, I might try out League of Legends again. I was never great at it, but I know the basics.
None of us are either. I mean, we're all bronze players.
Well, you still play with Jack?
Yeah, I play with Jack all the time. They have this new game on League of Legends. It's called Teamfight Tactics.
Why isn't Jack on the stream right now?
You know, I was going to ask him earlier because he just went and saw Top Gun, and he was actually bummed.
Jack,
I told Amber, hey, get off a little bit early because Amber and I are the bosses at her job, so she can leave whenever she wants. I said, hey, get off early. The kids are with my mom until 7. Let's go see a movie at 4. I get off at 3:30. And Jack was like, she doesn't even want to see it. Why don't you have me go? Me get off early. I'm like, because I'm going to go see a movie with my wife.
Yeah.
And then apparently he was bummed about that, but he did end up going to see it with his in-laws and Lauren, I think yesterday or the day before.
Nice.
We'll have to get him on here one of the next roundtables for sure.
We'll definitely.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to not talk about sports on these. We have so much we can talk about. It's
That's what I'm saying. Like we just released. Me and Cody and Sabrina went through this bracket that Barstool Sports put out. That was kind of crazy. It was the 1 through 16 bracket of the biggest scams, and we could totally, like, if you wanted, we could look at it. I could either spoilers. I don't know. It went up on YouTube and Spotify today, but it was pretty freaking hilarious. Kind of going and seeing how they seeded each of them.
Chapstick went too far, Chris.
You think
Chapstick went too far?
That was.
I don't understand how chapstick is a scam. It's just
Cody
an
even
item. It doesn't.
It's because you can lick your lips, dude.
Yeah, because the more chapstick you use, the more you rely on chapstick.
Oh my god!
And you lose it all the time. It's really small and easy to lose.
It's easy to lose.
It's sitting at the checkout. It's like you're guaranteed. It's like fucking candy. I get stuck buying candy every time I go to the store because of my fucking kids seeing them at the checkout.
Because it's right there.
Home Depot. My kids.
Ooh, piece of candy.
I didn't like going to Home Depot with my dad when I was a kid. Oh, there's 98-cent lollipops at Home Depot. Can we go to Home Depot with you? Sure. Now my Home Depot trip just doubled in time, but my kids get their goddamn lollipops. And probably 10 seconds into opening them, half the time they're smashed on the ground, and I got to buy a second one because they break really easily.
No.
Yeah, I want to know.
Did you pay for it already?
Always. A lot of times they open them and put them in their mouth, and then I won't. But a lot of times the Home Depot people are like, come on. Like, obviously, that sucker is from here. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
I didn't see anything.
Look at NFTs.
This was the bracket we went through. So it was the 116 was Nigerian princes and Manti Te'o's girlfriend.
So that's interesting because I have no idea Nigerian princess Brent says
I'd be
what that
curious.
means.
Do you and Davey should go, or we the three of us could go through it and see if we come to a different one. Mike already knows what we came to. Mike, did you listen to the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I remember what you guys had.
I hate that one. But
do you think it was? Do
I
you think
know
it wasn't
right away,
too controversial
13
to put out?
No, it was good.
Okay,
Have you
sorry.
ever listened to these guys do this podcast?
I
The bracket?
haven't. No, I didn't even.
No, you're probably
Is
the
it-
only
is
one
it
who's
a
ever
heat
heard of
one,
a
or-
Lights Camera Barstool podcast.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a secondary podcast under their umbrella that they started a couple months ago.
So I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to Barstool, I for the longest time was a huge hater because Dave Portnoy just sounds like a prick. And most of the time, at the beginning, when you heard about him, he was a prick. But then I got caught up in the fucking donations and the
Yeah.
saving businesses in COVID, and I'm like, man, he's just like a cocky asshole that also is
Yeah,
willing
he's
to
a
take care of people.
Boston asshole, East Coast
Um,
asshole.
I
I
did.
like it.
Rich fuck
I
now.
finally bought Barstool stuff. I bought the Sons and Forcer. I did buy that one
there you
Oh,
go.
no way.
during
There
the
you go.
Denver series when they did that. I did buy that Sons and Forcer. I haven't worn it since that series,
Yeah.
or since the next series. But
You can
yeah.
wear it. You can wear it during the season. Just don't wear it during the playoffs.
Well, let's hope we get there next year. That's a story for another day. I already know number 13 for me is probably in the
This
finals.
one?
And 8 and 9 shouldn't be 8 and 9. That's bullshit.
Some of the
Taxes should be
seedings are
top
bad.
four.
Some of the seedings are bad. Davey, I'll just spoil it right off the bat. Me, Cody, and Sabrina, mostly me and Cody, came to the consensus that taxes are the biggest scam.
Are they completely though?
I mean,
No.
if it's
Like,
all
like,
encompassing,
could you imagine if they didn't fix our fucking roads all the time, what our roads would look like?
bro, Pizza Hut will fix the roads. But that's not here. I want to give you my chain of logic that I broke down for Cody and them on
All
the
right.
podcast. So we all go to work. Or say the average person, they go to work and they work 40 hours and they have to pay state and federal income tax in most states. And then when you go to buy a car, you have to pay sales tax to buy the car. But then you also have to go down to the state local Department of Motor Vehicles and pay tax to register your vehicle. And then you have to go, you have to have license and insurance, or registration and insurance. So then you go buy insurance and you are taxed on the insurance. And then when you go to the gas station, you get taxed on the gas to fill up your car at the gas station. And then
So it's almost
after
like exponential.
it's just an everlasting loop. And then something I was really pissed about the other day, I was getting a massage and I just realized the same thing. I get paid, I get taxed, and then I tip this guy. And if I tip on a card, he gets taxed on my tip. What kind of, so my wages are getting double taxed. And then if he spends that money, it's taxed again. So it's just, the money is never ending getting taxed.
It's
So
fair.
I think my biggest problem with taxes isn't so much, there is a lot of unnecessary taxes in my opinion, but also the allocation of taxes. I don't want to get it too much political, but there's way too much bullshit spending in the government. You're right. Obviously the roads, the highways, you want that shit to get maintained and everything like that.
Yeah, if they were, you know what? If they were more open, what's the word I'm trying to use? Clear, transparent about what they use it for, and they try to be there, or they say they are.
For the most part,
you know,
if you really dig into it.
The older I've gotten, and with having kids, the U.S. fucking healthcare system's ridiculous. This month, I've taken our son to the doctor 4 times over a rash that just won't go away, and each time it's getting worse and worse. It started with eczema, and then it was really red, and now there's hives. Like, he breaks out in hives every 4 hours after he gets Benadryl. And the doctor, and guess what I have to do every time we go? Pay $25 copay for them to tell me to take Benadryl. Guess what they told me to do the second time? Oh, give him some Benadryl.
Same thing.
And then if it's still the same after 2 weeks, come back, and then we'll send you to an allergist. Well, guess what? Now I have to wait 2 months to get into an allergist for my son. Meanwhile, he has to fucking take Benadryl every 4 hours for the next 2 months. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, if you're not going to help me, don't charge me for the visit. If all you're going to do is tell me what I can have Googled,
if you give the same advice,
come on.
for the second,
man. The healthcare system sucks.
Well-
It does for other reasons too, like pregnancies and stuff like that. The amount of money that you spend. Amber and I were in and out for Jay within 36 hours of having him, and it was $7,000. It was insane.
It's fucking
That's
stupid
with
too.
insurance.
I was gonna say there's so many different things, and that's funny because you say with insurance it's $7,000, and then you ask, oh, what's the cash price? They're like, oh, $600.
Yeah.
So it's like what? So these prices are obviously just arbitrary, or so it seems. Like, where is the cost basis? Obviously, hospitals, as much as it sucks, they are a business in a sense.
Mhm.
They have to have people coming in and getting procedures and
Well,
charging people. But
you know what sucks about hospitals and how I feel like you can really tell hospitals are a scam? If you call near the end of the year and they haven't hit their charitable donation for the year,
they'll give you cheap
they'll write
shit.
they'll write off your bills, and it counts as a charitable donation. It's
Dang, so
fucking
you
insane.
can get treatment for free then, if you
do it right.
If
you do it right, we tried it with Amber with the baby, but they weren't about it. What's crazy is I had insurance through the state of Arizona for when we had Carson, and it cost us $0 to have her. But then after I moved over to Tipster, I worked. I had to use like the Obamacare insurance, and that's where it costs $7,000. To me, like obviously 8 and 9, those are big scams. Work until you die. You don't have to work until you die. I want to work till I'm die in some way, shape, or form. I want to love what I'm doing enough to where I can work until I die.
Thank you. That's what I said.
But only because I want to do it. If I want, but I also that could mean I want to work 12 hours a week and then
meaningful work.
Like, hey, that's what counts.
It's got to be meaningful work, not just a dead end like
the funeral business is a shitty one too. College and chapstick is kind of silly. And I see, obviously, it's Barstool, so you have to try and throw sports in there. Monty Teo's girlfriend is a good one.
That's so left field.
Really
I guess if it's going to be a 16 seed, I guess that's a good 16 seed.
Mine is that number 13. I would have 13.
Yeah.
I fucking hate when I take food out, I'm not going to tip you. I'm not tipping you for that. I don't
for
care.
takeout.
If I'm picking it up,
never for takeout.
Yeah. Never. Ever.
What about frozen yogurt?
Stupid. For what? You didn't even do it. I did it myself.
You do all the work.
You don't even weigh it. I put it on the thing. I grabbed a spoon. Hell no. I'm trying to think of what else is. Bathroom attendants, I've only dealt with maybe twice on Mill, and they never
it's
gave
just
me issues.
It's uncomfortable, but it's not the biggest inconvenience.
Yeah, but that's like a rich person thing. Yeah, that's maybe inconvenience for them. How many places have you been at bathroom attendants?
Like you said, just like Mill and like a place.
I don't understand. Explain to me the Nigerian princess thing. What is?
Is it like that's like a 90s and early 2000s scam? It's largely an email scam. From what I understand, basically they're like, "Hi, I'm a Nigerian prince. I'm looking to spread my wealth," or so. They prey on people and they convince them like, if you give me your bank account number, I'll send you $10,000. And
so just as simple. So the idea is Nigerian princes, but those scams are going on daily still. Yeah. NFTs is an interesting one because I don't think that we've gotten to the. It's not a scam because at the end of the day, it really only has hurt idiots that have no idea.
Yeah.
They just have so much money that they don't. I don't know anybody that's spent an overly amount on an NFT. If they're like a regular person like us, maybe they've spent $100 on one or something like that. But I also know lots of people that spent $50 on Dogecoin and now it's worth $7.
Right.
And then, but that's always hit or miss there.
Well,
the idea of NFTs is kind of crazy.
So on the podcast, I gave the Seth Green example. Mike, were you familiar with the Seth Green situation?
Yeah, wasn't he building an entire show around an NFT like a 6-figure NFT that he had bought? And somebody actually hacked his account and stole it, and now
hacked it, stole it, and sold it.
He can't make it. Oh, he sold it too? Oh no!
The guy that hacked it sold it to someone else, and then so Seth Green was like, "Hey, please give me my NFT back, please." And he was like, "Fuck you," basically. Like,
you can buy it back for triple the price.
This is a new scam. I got this 3 times today. It was we've received a request to reset your Facebook password, and I've gotten it 3 times today. I'm like, that's kind of, and it is. You can tell fake. They come up with new shit all the time.
There's so many scams out there, phishing scams.
Arcade claw
text
game
scams.
is shitty too because they can change the tension on the claw.
Yeah, that's what that was. Yeah,
Those
that's
are
kind of what I
hard.
said too. Yeah,
Those
it's
are
an interesting one.
Pyramid and Ponzi schemes. You can say they're scams, but there's someone that always like I don't know how many people benefit off taxes. I have no idea who Dr. Love is, so I couldn't.
Dr. Love was a bad one. Mike, did you hear about Dr. Love?
Wasn't he some kid who claimed that he had a PhD in like psychological therapy or something and was talking to like rich widows or something like that and charging them and giving them shitty advice?
You know what's crazy
it
that
was something
they're
like
not on here is the fucking Tinder swindler.
Yeah,
we could
easily redo this bracket because I don't like a lot of the seedings. Dr. Love at 5 is ridiculous.
Dr. Love and Monte Teo, I mean that's like fucking their Manti, whatever fucking name is. Those two are two that, and Chapstick too. That's kind of that Chapstick is useful for some people, I guess.
I think Chapstick
just hate losing it. I just hate losing it. The call about your car's extended warranty, it's not really like. I don't know if that's really a scam because obviously if you have an extended warranty or not, just to hang the fucking phone up. It's not convincing enough to get you to go into it. The Tinder swindler sounds like one that would really be up there. Just hearing about that. I listened to Bad Friends podcast. Have you heard that one before? It's with Andrew Santino. He's the dude from Dave. I don't know if you watched Dave.
I've listened to his Whiskey Ginger. But
okay, yeah. So he has his own. He has that one, but he also has one with the Asian dude.
Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee. And it's so fucking funny, man. And they talked about the Tinder swindler and like how kind of like, hey, you're a fucking sociopath, man. To be able to convince that many women of that, I really wouldn't watch it, but watching TV right now, and like there's so many options, like you were saying earlier, there's so many things to watch that it just depends on. Like Stranger Things was perfect. I was sick for 5 days, so I was able to just fucking barrel through Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Some of these Disney shows like Obi-Wan, it's only once a week, so it's easy to watch 43 minutes and then call it there.
Well, and it's over now too already, I thought.
Tomorrow is the 6th episode, and it sounds like before it was going to be a limited run series. Now it sounds like there's going to be a second season, which is I struggle with these ones because I wish they do an alternate universe in Moon Juice. I wish they do an alternate universe where you're muted, Doug.
Do you guys like
Anakin? I like it. It's okay. I like this. I have this drink that I make that is one from Disneyland, California Adventure, Pim's Kitchen. It's Ant-Man's Kitchen. They make this honey ginger, or it's a honey gin and one of the IPAs from out here put together, and it's so good. It's so good, yeah.
Sorry, you were talking about Obi-Wan?
Yeah. I just watched the latest episode. It was pretty slow. It's not. I struggle with watching stuff that I know what happens at the end. You know what I mean? Like, it just ends in Obi-Wan being an old man getting struck down, and Darth Vader and then, they talk about this last episode. Darth Vader there was a fight between him and one of the other characters, and that fight was sick. I don't know if you guys have watched it or not, but it was that fight with him and her was awesome. And just they really, because Darth Vader lost a lot of his oomph when everybody figured out, Anakin is Darth again, for the younger crowd that didn't, because like I never watched the original Star Wars until after the prequels. I remember seeing Revenge of the Sith and Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, back to back. My mom, who didn't have custody of us, she would take us to movies with her boyfriend because that's what he liked to do. And when I got to see those two movies back to back, and that was one of the probably coolest. It wasn't Revenge of the Sith; it was Attack of the Clones, which is my favorite Star Wars movie still.
Yeah.
It's that fucking fight scene in the sand arena where him and Padme and Obi-Wan are fighting everybody. So fun, the monsters and shit.
Oh, with that annoying ass green mantis thing that wouldn't shut the hell up.
The
That was
mantis, the rhino, Count Dooku, fucking Mace Windu landing down there, all the Jedi.
I went and saw that with I went and saw the Clone Wars with my brother and my dad.
Mhm.
And I was like, I think that was the first Star Wars movie I'd seen in theaters, and really didn't know
Yeah.
anything about Star Wars because I was still pretty young at the time. But it was a good movie.
Yeah,
For
my
sure,
mom's
for sure.
boyfriend at the time, well, I guess they're still kind of together. He was a big Star Trek, Star Wars nerd, so he really wanted us to take it see it. And my dad is completely opposite. My dad still really won't watch the Star Wars movie, even though me, my sister, we're both really big Star Wars fans, and he did watch The Mandalorian, but The Mandalorian just has a good vibe just as a show by itself. It really could be its own standalone thing, and still be great. But yeah, I really wish they would maybe, because Anakin Skywalker is a badass as far as I'm concerned. He was everything that somebody with a lightsaber should want to be without all the bullshit Jedi ideas. It's okay to be passionate about that, but at the end of the day, they took it to a exponential level with him. But I think he was so far, the fact that he could pilot the way he could, all that stuff. So that was fun. And I know everybody's like, he's so whiny and hormonal. I'm like, well, yeah, he's like basically a teenager.
He's still a kid, yeah.
3 series.
Yeah, you got to remember this perspective.
He's being preyed upon by Padme, and because she's like a few years older than him, and she's fucking leading him on this whole time. This damn 9-year-old kid falls in love with a 15-year-old. Fucking
start him early.
I don't know. Yeah, I struggle with the jumping around in timelines with Star Wars because it doesn't like these. I'm not able to enjoy what's going on as much because I know as far as I'm concerned, like Grogu's not around. Grogu doesn't help train Rey or any of them. So where the fuck is Grogu? Because Grogu should be around the age of being a Jedi Knight or so, because Luke is 40 years older. I mean, I know they age at different levels, and same with not the Mando. I don't know how they explain how they age, but those characters. That's one of the reasons why I can't. I liked the new Last Order game with Cameron Monaghan as the main character that just came out 2 years ago.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Did you play Fallen Order, Mike?
Yeah, that was
the one you had that broke your Xbox, right?
That's the one that pretty much broke my Xbox, where to the point I tried to play through this one level, I don't know, Davey, 8 to 12 different times. And there's all these giant ass spiders that come out, and there's so many bad guys on the screen at once. My Xbox can't handle it. It freaking overloads it. It starts chipping like crazy. And I've tried it, dude. I've tried playing through it. I tried going back and trying to go forward.
It was a good game, but at the same time, I know what happens. We know that's what this newest trilogy kind of ruined. They shouldn't have made the newest trilogy, to be honest, because if you don't make the newest trilogy, then you open up for everything. You open up. The Jedi race could come back, but instead, no, it's just even when the good guys make it out in Star Wars, they don't really make it out. The bad guys are still running. And maybe that's good for once in a while, but the good guys never win in Star Wars in 9 episodes. I mean, the good guy, just because Obi-Wan beat Anakin, he didn't win. They slaughtered their race. They slaughtered their race.
It's maybe a moral victory. It's not actually.
Yeah, and that's what it always is. The medal ceremony in the Empire Strikes, or no, at the end of the first one. You destroyed the thing, and guess what? In a year and a half, when we make the new movie, boom, there's a new one. They already created a new one.
They're winning. They're winning battles, but they're not ever going to win the war.
Winning the war. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know that they ran into director issues and kind of didn't know where to go with the three. I tried the first movie really I liked for the newest trilogy, but the last two, and like Adam Driver, I think Adam Driver is great.
They made Luke Skywalker a bitch. Like,
Well-
and I feel like Mark Hamill, like he even was trying to warn people like these are gonna suck. Like these
See,
are gonna fucking suck.
I think that all the characters from the original three are bitches. Leia took so long to even try and be force sensitive. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Like what? She's
Once
an
you
old-ass
knew
lady.
in the middle of the first movie, you should have been training immediately.
Yeah.
And this whole idea that they wiped everybody off. Why are there so many people that are willing to hunt people down, but not vice versa? And that's where I'm interested in seeing where the second Cameron Monaghan game goes, because this is I mean, Vader's around in that game, so he's not gone. And even afterwards, I don't know. That's where the last three movies kind of mess up all these small storylines, because Grogu's not in the last three unless they decide to not make that canon and they move it off to the side, which they've done before with Star Wars. They changed the canon in Star Wars.
Disney has pretty much free reign now to do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, I think they've kind of plugged back into Lucas a little bit. He's kind of, I think, maybe gotten involved a little bit, but they've also found a really good thing with Happy from the Marvel movies. What's his name? John Favreau.
John Favreau, yeah.
John Favreau's really few. John Favreau's just incredible at whatever he does, man. Jungle Book, the live action Jungle Book, I loved, and he did that. It was awesome. I know he's done a few of the Spider-Man movies he's helped on, and then obviously he's done Mandalorian. Bryce Dallas Howard from Jurassic World, she actually did the one episode in Mandalorian where they helped fight the massive like sandworm.
Oh,
And that episode was so great. So she did, that was a lot of fun too. So there's some good things in Star Wars, but like even Ahsoka, we know what happens. They're making an Ahsoka series. We know what happens. She's Anakin's Padawan, and then what? She's gone. You don't see her. You don't see Ahsoka in the new trilogy, which means either A, no one gives a shit about what's going on in the galaxy anymore. Like The Last Jedi, really? Like, come on. And Rey is it, really? Rey Skywalker?
Rey.
You know what they were originally supposed to be, right? Their names were going to be Star Killer. That was the original name.
Instead of Jedi?
Yeah. You know what I'd really like for them to go more into is the what's his name from Force Unleashed. He was an awesome character, but he was a clone. And it goes back to anybody that tries to turn on Vader always gets their ass fucking kicked. I'm interested in Mike. You watched this newest episode of Obi-Wan?
yeah, I watched the one last week.
So you think that she goes crawling back and lets him know what she found out, and then she gets to live, or what do you think?
I
don't like her as a character.
Not really.
The actress I don't like. I don't like the corny crybaby faces, because the reason why she's doing what she is doing, she should not be the way she is. It should be it'd be different if it was a face that she's putting on, but no, she is. She at the end of the day is just a Sith.
Yeah.
Just with different reasons. I knew damn well that was going to be one of the, obviously, because you see them run away in the first episode, those four, but it's not one of those four. She's obviously plays dead, but yeah, I don't know. And there's always people that talk about how these series and shows can all get oversaturated. I don't think there's any oversaturation. There's enough stories to be told in each of these universes that it's not going to bother anybody if they keep coming out. It's going to bother all the people that, like you said, do those creative, that want to do more of the creative new stuff, but they what the hell are you doing?
I was just giving you the floor, Davey.
No way. But I don't know. I'm excited. I'm a little worried. What do you guys think about with this next month of movies with like Thor coming out? Do you think it's another one of oversaturation of the market, or?
I'm curious because I know they said this is going to be like the last Thor movie, and I feel like after Endgame, the Marvel universe has kind of been on a steady decline of interest for me anyway.
Right.
And
What, Chris? You didn't go see Morbius?
I'm not.
I don't
gonna lie.
count that.
I didn't
No,
do
I
that.
don't count that. I won't see that movie. There's only been one Marvel movie where I haven't seen yet, and it's I love Miles Teller, but I won't watch that Fantastic Four movie.
No, you
I
won't.
No,
With Michael B.
nope, no, I don't like Michael B. Jordan. I think he sucks.
You don't like Michael B. Jordan
I
at
thought he
all?
sucked in Black Panther.
What about Creed?
I didn't watch Creed. I don't.
Yeah,
I
never-
don't have
never
interest, man.
You gotta
I
watch
don't-
Creed. I
don't
like
have any
Creed.
interest.
I don't know. I'm kind
Pretty
of
good.
with you. I'm kind of with Chris as well. Like, dude, the end to what was it? Technically, was it phase 3? Or
Yeah.
was it so that
Yeah, but it
end
was
was so climactic, though, with
It was
bringing in
The end of Infinity- all
everybody
of everybody, yeah.
and having that just that 4-hour campaign to
Mhm.
bring everything to an end. After that, man, I was
Let me see
like,
if I can see
oof.
this.
Like it was almost like a breath. Like I had to decompress, and I've been decompressing from that universe
Yeah.
basically since.
And
so
Iron
like
Man
I have
died. Captain
right.
America was done.
right. I haven't seen the new Doctor Strange. The Thor
Multiverse
movie.
of Madness.
I kind of want to. It has some of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters in it, right?
Love and
Uh,
He's
Thunder.
like he
Multitude. Thor is
Yeah, for
basically
Thor.
like a Guardians of the Galaxy 2.5.
Well, yeah, Mike, and you
Because he's
mentioned
a
you
part
like,
of the galaxy.
yeah, Mike, you like
mean-
Chris Pratt. Guardians 3 is coming out, I think, pretty
And
soon in
that's
the
the
next
last
couple of
one.
years, and that's the last one. And he said he's not going to do that character anymore. So Chris Pratt's not going to do Star-Lord anymore. So do you think that he bites the dust in that movie, or do you think that they just
write him off to the sunset.
Write him off to the sunset.
I don't know. Yeah, they'd probably
Chris Pratt's gotten a lot
kill
of
him off
see
in a victorious way, I guess.
a lot of people don't like Chris Pratt
because of that whole issue.
because he's like religious and
well,
he was
they
wearing,
say that
like,
because that church specifically doesn't like they hate the gays is what they've gotten from that. At the end of the day, I try my hardest to leave it to the big screen. He's Star-Lord. He's the guy from Jurassic World. I try my best to do that. There's some people where I can't do that. But
I was just gonna say I was talking to my dad about that. Like, how can you? It sounds like you're saying you are willing to separate the
It
artist
depends.
from like
I
the
don't
artists
do it with
themselves from
sports.
the art.
I don't do it in sports.
Okay,
I
not with
stopped
sports?
watching the Diamondbacks because of the owners' take last year on the All-Star game and how they shouldn't have removed it from wherever they removed it from last year. I just don't. These people already profit enough off of shit. Don't take advantage of fucking people, and that's why I feel like a lot of this is, and that's why this Sarver shit. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's hard. Yeah, me and Cody talked about that. It's like how much, because you'll have, it seems equal number of people. I mean, at least in media reports, it seems like equal number of people are saying, "Oh, Robert Sarver's a great guy. I never saw anything wrong." On the other side, Robert Sarver was the devil and he molested me. Like,
it's so hard to believe that. Like, and Larry is one or the other, but like a guy like Larry he put a lot of his eggs in Robert Sarver's basket.
Steve Kerr even said good things.
Steve Kerr, yeah. And then my dad, they had that new hire yesterday, the first female African American co-GM or assistant GM that they hired yesterday. And he's like, "Oh, they're trying to save face." I'm like, "Oh, really?
Why does it have to be that?
How many black guys has Robert Sarver hired?
So many.
Plenty.
James
Alvin
Jones.
Gentry, James Jones.
We just hired that Mutombo, Patrick
Monty.
Mutombo.
Yeah, I mean, this has never been a thing. So it's kind of, and that's why with him I don't get so crazy yet.
Racist is a weird angle with Robert Sarver. I could understand
maybe
sexist,
like
misogynistic,
creepy old man kind of.
Yeah,
feel. It kind of reminds me of like what it sounds like is like The Office. You know how like he tries to be buddy with everybody, but it's
a little
inappropriate.
weird. He's like a Michael Scott, like
yeah, it gets
from a different
inappropriate.
time. Yeah,
And,
and I can see that too because he's a little bit older guy. I mean, that's a classic excuse. It's not really an excuse, but more of like an explanation, if you
The dude
will. It's like,
carries
oh, he's
around
just
a
from a different
goddamn flip
time,
phone.
you know?
He
Right.
carries a goddamn flip phone around. So,
Mike's the perfect person to ask about this. He worked for the man. Mike,
that's right. You're a bubble, right?
knew about the Sarvers and the Sarver family. His kids were snob-nosed brats, from what I
They
remember.
still
Mike
are, from what I see, the way they act on the sidelines.
When the decision comes down, we'll have a full-blown Robert Sarver podcast.
Yeah.
Emergency podcast. Dude, I'm down.
That's the only thing we talk about.
You know, for the most part, I've been able and people say that about like Tom Cruise. They don't like Tom Cruise with the Scientology. But you know what I like? I love fucking watching Tom Cruise run down fucking buildings in Mission Impossible doing shit that's insane. That's what I love over the top movies. But I also love the like simple ones. We were talking about, mentioned Adam Driver. That movie with him and Scarlett Johansson where it was on Netflix. It was about them just their marriage falling apart it's called The Marriage Story, I think. That movie was incredible too. And but I'm all about the blockbusters. Like you guys said, like you were saying about Endgame, man. I've seen it 15 times and I cry over everything in movies. I would get if there's something to tear up about even a little bit, I tear up. But just even when I see small videos of like Cap picking up the hammer, I'm like, oh my god, dude! I can feel how worked up I was the first time I saw it. Still, but yeah, these new movies I feel like are an ode to more of the comic book fans, because there's a like the Doctor Strange we're seeing it was a completely different movie than what you would think as far as Marvel movies go. Spider-Man was great, but they're just going to throw as many Spider-Mans as they can together.
I really like the new Spider-Man where they brought Garfield, Tobey Maguire, because Tobey Maguire was my Spider-Man, and I've talked to Sabrina about this because Andrew Garfield is her Spider-Man. Like she really loved the Amazing Spider-Man.
See, I think what's so cool about all of them is they all are different. Like,
like I think the multiverse, not the multiverse of madness, the Spider-Man
Into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse really like made that idea and concept possible. And obviously that's been a concept in a lot of different shows and movies.
Well, and in Spider-Man, it's been for 20 years, the multiverse. I mean, there's so many Spider-Man characters to go through.
Yeah, if you look at the comic books,
even when we were kids, like the Spider-Man show, I don't know if you remember when he'd go into like the Spidey Sense world and he'd talk to Madam Silk, the old lady. They're making a movie about her, and the girl from 50 Shades of Grey is actually going to be playing her.
Oh, jeez.
So that would be kind of cool. I like her. I think she's great. Not in 50 Shades of Grey, but Dakota Johnson. And all the other ones, I thought she did some great stuff. That all the other movies I'd seen with her in it, but I mean, I do think that there is a little bit of, I can't say completely because obviously box office wise, they're all performing great.
Yeah.
Thor's last movie is one of my top 5. I loved the feels. Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite movie of all time. Not Marvel movie. Just the characters, the soundtrack, the feel it gave. It was feel good all the way around. There was a great villain.
Yeah, a lot of that is James Gunn and his style.
James Gunn's awesome. I love Peacemaker. I don't know if you guys watched the Peacemaker series on HBO Max. It's a DC series.
With John Cena.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I saw the Suicide Squad, and I did like his character in that movie.
Yeah, he was great.
Really funny.
They did great fixing the Suicide Squad after the first one, because the first one sucked.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
No,
it was kind of it seemed like it was like the scenes were all spliced together, like kind of hodgepodge.
Right.
Like,
Dude, Jared Leto was in it. That's all you have to say.
Well, and they hyped it. I think that's where it really felt like in the hype up to it is it was like Jared Leto is the new Joker. I think he was the first Joker after Heath Ledger.
But his stuff got cut. That
And
wasn't,
it got
that
cut
wasn't the
down,
original
like,
cut.
Trash.
They
man.
kind of
They
made
do
it
talk
seem like
about
the
how that
Joker
was-
was going to be a
That
big
dude
part of
is
it.
But he's not a good actor.
trash.
Yeah,
Jared
He's
Leto's a
horrible,
douche.
bro.
Yeah, fuck Jared Leto.
Ugh.
I do love 30 Seconds to Mars, though.
There's a couple. I mean, there's maybe one song.
Yeah,
I-
a few.
The Kill.
Yeah, the kill's so good.
I feel like I'm kind of at the point too where it's like, you know, I'm excited that they're still kind of expanding the stories with some of those characters from the original Avengers and
But you're ready
some of the
for
other
new
ones. Not even necessarily. Like, I've had my time. Like, I enjoyed
Yeah.
it, and like my main favorite character was Captain America,
Mine too,
and he's
yeah.
not, and he's never coming back. So it's hard to really like buy in
He
investments.
did say 2
Iron
weeks
Man.
ago.
Iron Man was my
Iron
favorite.
Man. Well,
He
he
did say
dead.
2
He
weeks
dead
ago.
too, bro. You
He dead.
shit out of
Exactly.
luck.
He's
So
dead.
Cap's
Shit out of
not,
luck.
but Cap
killed
can
the best
technically
one.
come back at any time in between his time travel. He can show up.
Black Cat.
And Chris Evans has said recently, while going on his Lightyear tour, that he really misses being
He needs to get his ass back.
filming
there.
with the Mark. But they're
I'm
also
all
getting
that.
ready to make Captain Carter, so that between her and Anthony Mackie, you have. I wouldn't be surprised if we've already seen the last of Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Because
Yeah.
as much as
Yeah.
I and the comics were great. I got into comics after the Marvel movies, obviously, and that was when I first started reading them. Was right when they had introduced Falcon as Captain America for a while, and it was fun. It was the way they moved it over was a lot of fun. But yeah, Captain America is my favorite character, and it does.
I never
something
watched.
without him.
Yeah. I never watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. Did either of you guys ever? It sounds like
Yeah, I
Davey,
watched them all.
you might have saw it.
I did, and Davey, I feel like that could be kind of the reasoning why they won't continue.
It did
Anthony
not
Mackie.
perform well.
It just didn't do as well.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Comparative to like Loki and oh my goodness, WandaVision.
WandaVision was good, and then
WandaVision was
see,
really good.
WandaVision was hard to get
You
into.
need to watch
though.
Doctor Strange. It was the first 4 episodes. Like it was really hard to watch.
Yeah,
Well, because
But
it was
then
so
it
weird.
kicked
It was
into
so out of
high
left
gear.
field.
it didn't. It didn't
Um,
make sense, but
I did watch
it
the
does make
first
sense. by
episode
the end.
of Miss Marvel 2 weeks ago. We haven't watched any more of it, but
Yeah, I
Miss
heard that
Marvel was-
flopped big time. I was seeing that.
Yeah, but they're gonna. She's actually Miss Marvel herself. The character has been a big part of Marvel's marketing over the last few years. Obviously, part of it is being a Pakistani superhero, but I mean, the Avengers game. She's one of the main playable characters. And
Mhm.
they changed her powers though already. Like in the show, she has this bracer that gives her these powers, but in the comics, she could just stretch. She was almost like Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you gotta Doctor Strange kind of.
I like
What
Benedict
sucks is-
Cumberbatch, and I like the
he's so good.
character. I love
He's so
Doctor
good.
Strange, but the character. But it's so like, I gotta. What have you done? I gotta make sure that we don't take up the whole universe. Like it's just
He
the same
does
thing
say
every
that.
single time. Like, and
He
it's,
does. His character is changing after this last one. You definitely see and he said, "I'll continue to change. I'll continue to play the character as long as the character continues to evolve."
it's
And
cool. I
even
like
he
that.
said in an interview, like, this gets so silly for me now after playing Doctor Strange. Pretending like I'm doing magic has gotten to a little bit cumbersome for him. Literally,
especially because he's not even Cumberbatch.
Cumbersome for Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Oh man, would you guys be upset if I took a hard like right turn real quick and covered
awesome.
something sports related?
No, it's fine.
How
'Cause
dare you,
my-
Chris? How
my-
dare you?
Oh, we're losing you.
About this and my feelings
You're cutting in and out.
definitely over
You're cutting in and out.
things odds they've changed a little bit, but for odds, fuck. Let me let me come back. How's that? Is
That's
that any better? Okay, so maybe I won't share that, but
I saw a little bit of it.
yeah, what I was trying to share is the DraftKings Sportsbook odds for the DeAndre Ayton next team. And we did talk about this on the Heat Check podcast, me and Cody. We talked about it for like 2 minutes, but you two are the perfect people to talk to this about. And my feelings changed over the weekend is what I was saying. And I think that the Suns need to keep DeAndre Ayton. They need to pay him. They need to give him the contract, and they need to pay him. So right now it's plus 350 for the Suns to get DeAndre Ayton, plus 385 for the Pistons, plus 475 for the Spurs, and plus 475 for the Pacers. So basically, Suns, Pistons, Spurs, and Pacers are the most likely teams. And the fact that the Suns are even that low or that high, however you look at it, of odds. It seems like it seems like the consensus is starting to be that he's not coming back, and I think that could be a mistake, because he's a good player, but maybe the chemistry's not right, but he is a good player, and I just don't see that us getting a return for him. So I'd rather they try and make it work and have him adjust, have the game plan adjust, have the rotation adjust, make some adjustments rather than just shipping out a good player for lesser pieces. What do you think, Mike or Davey? I don't know who wants to take the baton first.
Well,
here.
I did die on the hill because obviously we picked the wrong player in the draft. We probably could have picked two different players over DeAndre and would have been okay.
Yeah,
and we didn't pick the wrong. In hindsight, the Suns wouldn't be the Suns they are without DeAndre right now.
Yeah, you picked him for fit and scheme at the time.
You know damn well, like you've argued with people online, if you have Luka Doncic, you're going to be competitive for the next 15 years. It doesn't matter who's fucking on the court with him. And once these fucking guys suck it up and get over some of his antics and do play with him, that Christian Wood trade by Scat, what are you doing? Are you serious? I've never seen. She was just humping Gabby.
Holy live on stream. You're gonna get us shut down on YouTube.
I've never seen her do that. I know you said she does that. Get out of here.
It wasn't blocked at all.
I got my cat right here too.
Oh no.
Jesus.
Davey, what'd you say? I know you said there was probably two players you could have picked for him. You're talking about Trae Young, right?
Trae Young will be the other one. Yeah. You know what? I would prefer that they keep him. But I do, and even before I was like, you know what, it is what it is. He plays video games. Fuck it, like blah blah blah. But then, like, for him to come out, that ESPN article he came out with the month that we were playing the playoffs, of him talking about how he cannot not stay up till 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Literally getting like 2, 3, 4 hours.
Have you seen the video of him where he broke his PlayStation 4 while he was at U of A? And he was like, "Don't ever put me on that motherfucking game again," yelling at his roommate. Like,
what?
He was like nuts about it. There's a few trades I've seen where I would be really happy, and there's trades where we win the trades.
I think I hear you. I remember you mentioning Miles Turner as someone you didn't hate.
I don't like Miles Turner's motor, but turns out DeAndre has the same fucking motor.
Yeah.
And to take back Miles Turner, you have to take back Malcolm Brogdon. And Malcolm Brogdon, they got fucking Milwaukee got rid of him, and then Milwaukee wins a championship. So it's like he's not a piece that wins. And Indiana, you thought was going to be better.
Right.
Indiana had enough pieces to be an 8 seed in the East. They had enough. They had enough last year. If TJ Warren was healthy, they probably are an 8 seed before they traded Sabonis, obviously.
But Brogdon missed a good amount of time last year.
Yeah, that's the thing and that's over the last 2 years that he's been with Indiana.
Well, and I feel like Turner has hurt a lot too.
And always.
Yeah. And obviously we should have drafted Matisse Thybulle, but we got Jalen Smith. And so then we just if we're already going to get rid of Ayton, why did we get rid of Jalen Smith? Was the writing on the wall for Ayton? Did we know about this a year, 6 months ago? Or is this all of a sudden boiling over since the end of the season? Because you got to think they knew about his video game problems.
You know how James Jones feels about chemistry. You can tell. No, dude's not going to trade for Torrey Craig 2 deadlines in a row if he doesn't feel really important about chemistry.
That he's a chemistry guy, yeah.
So
that's fair.
The thing is, and then this is kind of stupid. I haven't been on Twitter all that much, but I do know there's this one lady who goes to the same barber as DA, right? And
I saw that.
And they're saying that something happened between Book and Monty and DA. Well, guess what?
They want him out.
I don't give a fuck what happened. I don't even care if Book was wrong. Get off my fucking team if Book doesn't like you. Get off my team.
Yeah, that's a big thing, man.
That is true. Yeah.
But it's what's weird to me is those are not the teams that I would. What the hell? What are we gonna get? Jeremy Grant back? But and the Spurs, I know they've talked about. I wouldn't mind if it would have to be for the Spurs, it would have to be 2 first and Podol.
We're hitting Podol. We're definitely hitting Podol if we're
and that
fucking
power
doing it.
forward, the young power forward. Mike, you had him on your fantasy team this year.
Keldon Johnson.
Keldon Johnson. It would have to be those 4. And Detroit can't give him anything like that.
No.
And
Not at all.
Detroit's going to be at least
Detroit has nothing to give them. Nothing to
Detroit's going
offer.
to be at least a little bit competitive with
Well,
Cunningham. He
so-
seems to be the type of player that will help them win games no matter what.
Yeah.
But
The Hawks have Clint Capella to offer. Is that
Fuck no,
I don't
bro.
want Clint Capella. He
He-
bounced
look
from
outta here with
Houston
that
to
shit.
Atlanta
well,
to
him, you have the baseline of you've seen him and Chris play together. So
Oh,
that's
that's
only
fair.
one thing. And he had a really good season, and obviously Chris didn't. And that was probably one of the. If Chris and James don't get hurt, that Houston runs away with the title that year.
Dude, that's
They
the
were
thing.
gonna-
I don't give a fuck who Chris Paul is playing good with
Right.
at this point now.
Yeah.
Chris Paul has to be the third option. I don't
Yes.
give a
he
shit
doesn't
who
That's
have to
the
be
works
biggest-
with
the
Paul
no one-
anymore.
guy.
Because
This
he
is what I
can't
will
make it
say.
through the season.
There's a Hornets trade that they've been talking about. PJ Washington and Miles Bridges for DA.
That's
And
the only one that's been intriguing so far from things
Miles
that I've
Bridges is absolutely a dude that can score.
Is he that
25
guy? Is Miles Bridges
night.
that guy?
Yeah, he's not
heard. He's
touching the
getting
ball as much.
better.
LaMelo,
He's getting better for sure.
LaMelo is such a high usage guard that you only get so much of it. Could you imagine Book and Chris and Michael, even because he's a great passer, having Miles to throw the ball up to all the time?
Well, is Miles
Mikel's
going to
gonna-
play the 4? Is he going to be a power forward?
Michael would have to play the 4. He's like 2 inches bigger than Miles, I think.
Yeah.
Is he?
So you're
And
getting
then
a little
I thought he was
smaller.
like an inch or 2 bigger than Miles.
Well, then if you do that, who are you starting at center?
PJ
JaVale
Washington.
McGee?
I would start PJ.
PJ Washington?
I would play small.
That's what they did. That's
He
what
stretches
they were
the
doing
floor
in
so well.
You
Charlotte.
could.
He plays defense really well. He's 23 years old. It's really aggressive. Maybe too young. Obviously, the first thing you have to do if you're the Suns and you don't get DA is you go and you get JaVale and you bring it back in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you have to be committed to playing small on the back end when JaVale's not playing.
Mhm.
Because there's nights where JaVale's only going to play 8 minutes a game because he fucking fouls 4 dudes in 3 minutes.
Because he's a
Yeah.
hacking ass dude.
Or
fouls 5
he's like playing Olay with the defenders and letting them run through them while they score 15 points in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because JaVale is and JaVale's shown he can be a big part of a title team. Because he was a big part of that Warriors team that won, and he was a big part of that Lakers team that won because he gave LeBron a big body to clear out the paint. But I don't know. I mean, if you can look at the odds things with DeAndre, but if you look at the odds things in Bovada for Kevin Durant, it's plus 350 for Nets. It's plus 350 for the Suns. Or it was
Really?
It was
Wow.
at one point or another. So
I didn't know
it's-
that. Because I know I've seen a lot in the Reddit community and a little, not so much on Twitter, but people do think that Kevin Durant is enticed by the idea of playing for the Suns, but I just don't know how that works out. You'd have to get a third team involved, probably in some type of obviously a sign and trade situation where
well,
Aiden's
yeah,
going
because
to the
DA is
Nets.
only worth 19 million on the cap.
Yeah.
this year.
And you're
Not
hearing
31 that you'd be paying him.
Yeah, exactly. And you're hearing on top of that Kyrie and the Nets are at odds and that they're probably trying to unload Kyrie.
Yeah,
So for-
Pelinka and the Lakers are already trying to throw packages together.
The idea of them doing an entire overhaul and getting rid of both of those guys and rolling out some entirely, I guess it's possible. Like New York sports and New York in general, anything's possible, and it's crazy.
It's
But-
possible if they throw up enough of a stink about it, if both of them do.
Well, but Brooklyn
Yeah.
also isn't one to.
Yeah, true.
Brooklyn,
Yeah, those are the guys that
as
could-
a franchise, Brooklyn hasn't gotten hung up on their players, and I know it should be different. It's Kevin Durant and it's Kyrie Irving. It should
They move
be
people
different.
a lot.
You
Jarrett
should be
Allen, their
fucking
whole
clawing. You should be clawing to keep those dudes on your team, both of them. Because guess what? If Kyrie and Kevin Durant get a full season of playing together next year, they're a 1 or 2 seed in the East, and they're absolutely everything you need to win a fucking playoff, win the championship. If they were healthy, they would have won. If they didn't get stuck where they were seeding wise, they probably would have been fine.
Mhm.
If they would have had an easier matchup in the first round to kind of get their feet wet together, they would have been fine. There's only 3 teams with dudes that can go off for 60 each. Not at the same time, but each. You know what I mean? There you have Steph and Clay. You have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and I guess you could say probably LeBron and Anthony Davis, but I don't know if LeBron could do that now or more.
when
so even
healthy,
Anthony Davis.
asterisks when healthy, maybe.
And then you could say maybe Giannis and Chris Middleton, because Chris Middleton can score 45 without even trying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's Brooklyn would be crazy, but this has. I want the Suns. I do like the fact that the Suns' names are involved in everything, because you know how it gets so annoying that the Lakers are always possibly in on a superstar, right?
Mhm.
And
yeah.
the Clippers too, and stuff like that, and Philly and Miami. I want the Suns to be one of those. I don't care if you don't always get them, but I want the Suns to be a contender in getting these guys, because that's what's going to keep us afloat moving forward with Devin for the next 10 years. I don't know. I want DA to stay, but he's not a third scoring option. He can't be. And if that's what he wants to be, and if he thinks he's a power forward, then no, don't stay. Go. I know they've been talking about. Pop has said that he'd play him at the power forward position.
What, with Pirtle alongside of him?
Well, no, because there's no way
they'd have to give us Pirtle.
What did Pirtle average?
Who's going to play with him?
11 points a game.
Exactly. That's been my thing. Is you can get any guy that's 7 foot to grab you rebounds, and that's what we need. We need an aggressive rebounder and someone who's going to put the ball in the hoop. And DA can't do it. He's situationally aggressive, and I was going to mention this also, because I was listening to 98.7, the local guys today on the radio, and they were talking a little bit about some rumors circulating about Cam Johnson. And trades, but Gambo said that's totally bunk. They're not trading Cam Johnson anywhere.
So what they're doing right now is, because DA's technically not on the roster, right? Because he hasn't accepted his qualifying offer. So they're using Cam Johnson's name as a placeholder for DA in some trades. One of them being for the Pelicans' 8th pick. But who the hell are you going to get back from the Pelicans? The Pelicans aren't going to give anybody up unless I'm getting Brandon Ingram back.
Brandon Ingram, that's a lot of money.
Anyone.
Yeah,
well, so that's anybody. And you can't play Zion and DeAndre next to each other.
I don't want Zion. No.
And I would saying the Pelicans can't.
No,
it's such a weird trade.
Yeah. This is where the Suns, right?
At least
this is where the Suns are stuck. They're absolutely stuck right now, right? Because you have this entity with DeAndre Ayton that. I mean, you could say if he deserves a max or not, but he still technically is one of the best centers in the NBA. If you start kind of thinking about his true game and his overall growth and what he can be, right? But if it's not working within the locker room and there's a rift between him and Devin Booker, as much as it kind of matters what him and Monty's relationship is like. If him and Book don't get along, bro, there's not going to be success there. Right?
That's why I didn't want Luka to begin with.
That's true.
I had heard
they didn't like each other, right?
Luka and Devin didn't like each other. Devin had seen Luka. Devin was really involved in that draft. I mean,
we even had Igor at the time, and he wanted Luka.
Yeah. Well, we knew Igor wasn't going to last.
So you sit here and you say, well, okay, if that's not working and we need to have good chemistry, we saw where it got us and where it can get us. Who can you bring in to trade for a potential piece? I know there's a lot of teams out there who like DeAndre Ayton, but I'm still not seeing good enough offers, aggressive enough offers for teams to really say, hey, this is a max player that we want to trade for. I need to see.
The thing is, no one else thinks that he is.
Exactly.
So no one else
does.
You're
stuck.
And guess what? You're taking our deal or you're taking a qualifying offer and we're trading you at the deadline.
And we figure it out later.
Yeah, and it is what it is. And guess what? We'll know better where we're at the deadline. We can. If DA is in need or not, you know what I mean? Because I don't know, and I like I'm looking forward to what Cam Johnson's deal is, because there's no way he should get paid more than what Mike Hill did.
No, that's exactly.
I can't give him $20 million.
He lost so much money during the playoffs.
He fell off at the end of the.
He was going. He was getting Michael's deal, if not more, if he would have performed in the playoffs. Because Michael took a deal, and Michael, you can tell Michael, he's all about the Phoenix Suns. So I know that he could have gotten more if he really fought for it.
Yeah, but that's what doesn't make sense about moving Cam Johnson, especially, is that He's exactly what we're looking for in free agency, a forward that can shoot. He's a
Mhm.
tall forward that can shoot because he's what,
But can shoot when it
6'8"?
matters.
Well, he's young. I'm young
He's like,
enough.
yeah, no, but he's not young. He's older than Book.
He's
He's
yeah,
25,
he's
26, 26.
Yeah, he's older than Book. So
Yeah, no,
that
so he
shouldn't
should be.
happen.
Yeah, no, he is not. I guess you can't use the young excuse anymore for a 26-year-old.
And for as far as experience wise, he's played in big games. That's
Yeah,
why him
going
and
back to
Mikhail
college,
worked so well, because they both played for the 2 of the top 6 colleges in the NCAA. So and Mikhail he was playing for championships every year, it felt like. And he played under Jay Wright. And then same with what's his name? He played under Roy Williams or whoever else the other UNC coach was that took over recently.
Oh my goodness, I just lagged there majorly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's cool that you got 1 year to run it back, and this is what happened. So now,
So disappointing.
The sky isn't falling. The sky isn't falling at all. But I would, if it means that we end up with these guys, I would like. But I still think that Book has to take it to another level next year.
Yeah, he does.
Think that he made it All NBA
Yeah.
this year. He should be a top 3 in the MVP conversation next year if we really want to take the next step. It needs to not be the 26 points. It needs to be 30. It needs to be 30.
And it can't be a short stint when Chris Paul goes out for him to really get himself into the MVP category. It needs to be the first time things come out, right? Mm-hmm. He's a top 3 guy right away when we start talking about who's MVP and who's not.
He has to. I mean, we need to see 30 points a game. It doesn't matter who it takes away from. You don't have anybody else that's going to demand the ball unless you go out and get a second guy. Because Chris Paul is the perfect third player at his age right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he just needs 100%. To be a distributor. He needs to be pesky on defense when he needs to be, and he just needs to be clutch at the end. Sure. Hopefully you get a second guy that doesn't mind the fact that he is going to probably end up losing the ball a little bit when it comes to the fourth quarter between Book and Chris. The problem,
let him go to work in clutch time.
Is that's all, but that's also by design. That's why 4 of their 5 players were top field goal percentages in the clutch time. So it's not. I mean, Book's always been clutch, even on shitty teams. He's made shots that make teams win when they shouldn't. But yeah, man, I expect that if no deal happens tomorrow, that DeAndre will be a Phoenix Sun for the next 4 years, because the draft's on Thursday, and there's just not a lot of movement. I don't know. That Dallas trade. The Dallas was in the playoffs 2 weeks longer than us, and they already made sure to go make a deal to make themselves better.
Oh, dude, I love that Christian Wood trade.
But
that's the exact type of trade.
So he has that same motor issue, I feel like. If they're not winning,
but all those pieces that Dallas gave away were expendable pieces that weren't going to take them to the next step.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Christian Wood can really make a difference.
Yeah, what did you lose? A Boban for commercials? That's like what you lost.
So that's where you get stuck with DA. He still makes such an impact for your team. If we're not getting something back that's comparable or better, you can't pull the trigger. You just have to sign him.
Yeah, getting back DeAndre is still better than Dallas getting Christian Wood.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that move is still, because now we have to think of it as us acquiring DeAndre again. Because for us to get him to come back and be happy about it, we're acquiring him as a player again. We have the James Jones, and I'm sure James Jones has done his part to get DA back where he needs to be. But.
And I hear what you guys are saying about if Book is not happy with Ayton, or if there's no chemistry there or lack of chemistry there, you gotta move him. You got to move on from him. But at the same time, at a certain point, it's the best available. Like Mike, you even said DeAndre Ayton's one of the best centers in the league. So at what point do you sit both of them down and say, hey, look, you guys are both professional athletes at the highest level of basketball. The NBA is the pinnacle of basketball. You two, we need to fucking make this work. And that comes to Monty as well. So the 3 of them, and maybe Chris Paul, all 4 of them need to come together and figure out how to make it fucking work. Kumbaya, because DeAndre Ayton is the best option. We can say Miles is, Kevin Durant would obviously be great, but I feel like for me, that's a pie in the sky proposition. Between going for a lesser option and DeAndre Ayton, I think they just got to make it work with when it comes down to raw talent.
I don't know. I absolutely think that at the end of the day, and here's the deal: for Devin to be able to get along with Chris the way he does, Devin can get along with anybody. I really, because there are lots of people that Chris rubs them the wrong way, and it doesn't work out. So I don't think it's a. I really don't think it's a Devin thing, as maybe it is. Maybe Devin took Monty's side on something, or
well, with Devin, does it come down to maybe? I was thinking that too, and then you kind of jogged my memory there. Does it come down to a work ethic thing where Devin Booker is kind of, he does get in the gym, and I know he works, and he's a master of the craft. Whereas he sees DeAndre Ayton staying up till 4 o'clock, doing 2K streams, and then getting 2-3 hours of sleep. And maybe not as dedicated as him.
You could say that, but at the same time, Devin has the problem is DeAndre's not one of the boys. You know what I mean? Jay Crowder, Torrey Craig,
Campaign.
Yeah, they're one of the boys. They get together. They play poker till 3 o'clock at night. And Chris, until I think he finally moved his family out here this year, partially. I know they're obviously based
still in LA. Yeah,
but I mean, Chris. They were that's what they do. Devin said, we get off the plane, we play in the van until we get back to the facility, and then if we don't want to drive from the facility, we have them take us from the van to my house and we play cards. So I mean, they play cards all through the night, and I don't know, man. I think we got some. It's good problems to have. I think.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. I don't know. I love DeAndre Ayton. I really do. I think he's fun. I think he's marketable. I think he's easy for people to like. But at the same time, there's also lots of UC Suns fans that think that they're man. I would just like him to rebound. But at the same time, if he has a weird mentality of him feeling like he's more of a stretch guy who should spend a little bit of time just inside the 3-point arc, which is what he does a lot of the time. Not that he's put in great positions to rebound, and the fact that Mikal Bridges doesn't rebound drives me fucking crazy. But that's another story for another day, because Mikal and Cam should be able to rebound just fine. Cam's stupidly athletic. Mikel's arm, you don't
Cam's
have to
long
jump
too.
Yeah, I mean, and so I think a few of the things the Suns need to hit on before. Obviously DeAndre, but also we need a backup guard that can legitimately handle things, not just as bad as it sounds. Campaign's playoffs last year was a fluke. It was clearly just the Sun. Sometimes experience hurts you. They were going into the playoffs that first year blind. They didn't know. They just fucking went for it. They were playing hard, and that's it, and it worked. Yeah. But that's one of the other things is they had their 2 best opportunities, and going back a third year with DeAndre Ayton as your third option, I think it hurts a team more than it helps it. But him not being on the team hurts it even worse. So, but there's not a lot of options. Like the talent pool is huge in the NBA, but at the same time, for what the Suns are looking for, there's very few guys that fit exactly what they need.
Yeah,
2 of them play for each other.
The window.
2 of them play on the same team. One of them is Kevin Durant. Like my 3 perfect fits for the Suns, in order, would be KD, Kawhi, and then Paul George. Those are the 3 prototypes that would fit in that power forward position for the Suns, where they can score. And there's no one that does that. You hope Mikal maybe takes that jump on this one, because this is when Kawhi did it. It was his 4th year when Kawhi took that scoring jump. But at the same, and I told my brother the other day, I feel like Cam could be that third option, but he says he doesn't think that he has he doesn't think that he can go 35 minutes a game. Just
I think he could. Cam's still a little scrawny in my opinion, but he's got to bulk up a little bit. But it's getting a little late here, fellas.
Yeah.
So
we have a post draft one if anything happens.
Post what?
Post emergency cast on Thursday if anything happens.
Thursday is the NBA draft. Yeah, no, we can definitely. I would be down. Do a quick little recap, maybe 30 minutes to an hour or whatever we can. Whatever we're up for.
The thing is, do any of you guys know any of the dudes in the draft this year?
No, the drafts have been weak, man. The drafts have been weak. Mike,
Chet Holmgren. That's it.
Like,
Chet.
yeah, Chet. Yeah, there you go, Chet.
Palo from
Blanchero, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Blanchero, yeah, the guy who sweats 10 pounds worth of sweat every single game.
That's
thought he was-
just doesn't make any
Pat
sense.
Mahomes.
I don't know if it's 10 pounds, but he sweats a fuck ton. Mike, did you have anything to say? Because you've been kind of quiet here for a little while. Just while we wrap up here.
No, I think the last thing is I'll put some money on that DA bet coming back to the Suns. I think we're going to figure it out and just go from there. I mean, we've had the possibly two best seasons in the past 30 years for this franchise. So you got to keep that momentum going and just figure out a way. So
yeah, recency bias says that this season ended off bad, but still, it was best record-wise. It was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
There was never any stress to watching a game, and that's what made it a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm with you there. I don't expect D8 to go anywhere because I don't think that anybody has enough to offer, and I don't know if anybody else thinks that he's worth it as much as he is worth it to us.
Yeah. No, it sounds like we're all on the same page. Mike, Davey, please stick around when I end the broadcast here. I just want to do a quick plug. Cody fucking hates it when I do these plugs. I don't know, Mike.
Why? How else are you gonna let the people know?
I know. How else are you gonna get it out? I gotta shill. I gotta get the plug out there. This is our second roundtable event, and Davey, thank you so much for coming on. We missed some of the other regulars. Ian was here for a little bit in the first half. We had some technical difficulties. We're still figuring out the technology. Me and Mike have microphones. Look at this. I bust out my microphone. Mike, show
I'm
him.
official.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
official now, baby.
You got the blue snowball.
I
baby.
sent him the link. I told him get the snowball. That's the industry standard for people starting out on the live stream circuit. It's cheap.
You gotta
it's
start
easy.
somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere, and that's where we're at. We've had consistently 0 viewers throughout this live stream, but I'm still fucking loving it. I'm loving it.
They were all here at 7:30, and then
they were here exactly. They were here at 7:30 and then bounced out when it didn't start till 8. But hopefully
they'll watch back. They'll listen.
Exactly. I was gonna say hopefully some of you are watching it back on the playback, and I just want to say thank you. We're getting this going, and this is what I've heard about YouTube and podcasting in general. It's got to be something you just do as a hobby and something that you love, and that's why all of us are here. And you just keep putting out content, and you might put out content for a year or 2 years, and it might never go anywhere. And then it'll either click one day and you'll take off, or it won't ever go anywhere, and you'll just do it because you love doing it. And I'm just going to keep doing it for my immediate circle, the organic growth, our friends and family, and anyone else who wants to hop aboard this train. Valley Sports Plug, I think we got something good going here. We tried this 3-4 years ago, and we bit off more than we could chew. But now I think we got a good thing going. We got the Heat Check podcast. It's guaranteed to hit you once a month. We've been doing more than that. We're way ahead of pace. We're hitting you with these live streams at least once a week with me, Mike, and Cody, or me and Mike. We're doing the roundtables at least once a month. I think this is our second one in less than 2 months. But it's just stuff like that. And that's another thing with the streaming is managing expectations. So I don't want to lie to you guys and say that we'll be doing a lot of streams, but we're going to stream when we can. And we're going to do the podcast when we can. I got my mic now. Mike's got his mic. So this sound quality is already going up. Davey, what kind of mic are you using?
I use the Elgato Wave Plus.
Fuck
so
yeah.
It's a Stream One. Yeah, it works.
Stream One. Nice. So it's higher quality. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is we got the equipment better than just when we were recording the past couple, where me and Mike were just on our laptop microphones and iPod headphones. So it's not about the equipment. It's about getting the information out to you. I hope people who might listen back one day tune into the podcasts and the live casts and give us your feedback, hop into the live streams and let us give us some topic, ideas, stuff to talk about, share your opinion. But now I'm just kind of rambling. I wanted to thank Mike for being here. I want to thank Delmo for being here as always, and give you guys just the floor to say any last words.
No, I'll go so that you can finish it off, Mike. But yeah, I appreciate having it. Like I said, just like we talked about a few days ago, we didn't even get to really get into it with some of the other stuff. So we got plenty to go with moving forward. And I can appreciate the ending it with the Sun stuff because it is important. It's obviously a part of our brand.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys having me on. I was excited. I'm glad I was able to get there when I could. And I enjoy it. I just like shooting the shit. So,
yeah. No, always love having you. And as a friend of mine, Stephen Miller, once said, it's always a privilege, never a chore. I thank both of you for being here. I just did want to say, touching on that, what you said there, that I do think that. Oh fuck! I totally lost my train of thought. Mike, you go ahead. Mike, you go ahead. Say your piece.
Oh, I was gonna say thank you, Chris. Thank you, Davey. VSP, we out, baby.
Yes, sir. I don't have the outro music queued up, so we're just gonna leave you on a hard cut. But I thank everyone for being here, and we'll see you on the next episode.